All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm seriously pumped for today's explainer because we're doing something a little bit different and honestly completely fascinating. We're going to take things and put them into absolute slow motion. Think of this as a bullet-time deconstruction of a single, breathless sentence from the super fast-paced world of short-form content. Specifically, we're taking a massive magnifying glass to a micro hook from the YouTube channel Adish Povi. It is just astonishing how much psychology, narrative structure, and frankly, pure viewer manipulation is packed into literally just a few seconds of audio. And all of this happens before any real action even begins.
Okay, let's dive into this premise. It all starts with the core constraint of this creator's entire challenge, the number 20. We're looking at a frantic race against a 20-second clock. Now, you and I both know that in the world of the doom scroll, 20 seconds feels like an absolute eternity. But when you use it as a physical limitation for an athletic challenge, it's an instant. By immediately anchoring the premise to this exact highly restrictive number, the creator establishes instant, palpable stakes. You aren't just wondering if he can do the thing, you're specifically invested in that ticking clock, even before the clock starts.
Section 1. Anatomy of a hook.
Look, in the modern short-form arena, creators are out there battling for your attention in a space where a swipe happens in a fraction of a second. To survive that, you've got to pack an entire story's worth of intrigue into your very first breath. So listen to this exact Hindi transcript of the opening audio from Adish POV. He says, "Kya main is bottle ko 20 seconds ke andar la sakta hoon? Nahi? Okay, main abhi aapko karke dikhata hoon bhai." Translated, that means, can I bring this bottle in under 20 seconds? No? Okay, I'll show you right now, brother. It's this rapid-fire run-on sentence that completely refuses to let the viewer breathe. Before he even takes his first step, he's delivered a complete narrative arc. He establishes a goal, experiences a moment of self-doubt, and then pushes through to a resolution, literally all in one continuous exhalation.
And this brilliantly illustrates the creator's underlying psychological hook. It breaks down into a perfectly engineered 3-step mental process that's just custom-built for maximum viewer retention. Step 1, the challenge, setting that impossible goal. Step 2, the doubt, a totally sudden twist in expectations. And Step 3, the execution, the promise of the actual action. Our brains are hardwired to recognize and latch on to this exact sequence. We hear the challenge, and our curiosity is instantly piqued. We hear the doubt, we're amused and totally disarmed. And then we hear the execution, and bam, we are locked in to see the result. It's essentially a retention machine.
Section 2. The element of doubt. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it highlights that the absolute best hooks don't just give you a sterile challenge, they introduce immediate conflict. We've got two completely conflicting ideas slamming into each other right at the start. On one side, there's the impossible question, packed with high energy and serious athletic ambition. Can I bring this bottle in under 20 seconds? And then, wham! On the other side, we get the comedic pivot, the blunt reality. Nay, or simply no. It's a hilarious, totally deadpan rejection of his own premise. He builds up all this hype and then just immediately pops his own balloon. That abrupt, self-aware honesty completely disarms you. You can't help but smile. And more importantly, you stop scrolling.
Section 3. Parkour and comedy combined.
Let's move to and see how this builds. Traditionally, parkour is highly serious. It's focused on perfection, danger, and extreme physical exertion. But Adish POV subverts that entirely, and you can see this baked right into the video's DNA. Just look at the metadata. He uses tags heavily dedicated to physical exertion. Things like #parkour, #running, #athlete. But right alongside it, carrying the exact same weight, is the entertainment factor. #funny, #comedy. The creator is intentionally targeting two completely different audiences here. He's perfectly balancing serious athletic performance with this highly relatable, self-deprecating humor. He's telling the algorithm the exact same thing he told us in the hook. Expect a sport for sure, but absolutely expect to laugh at it too.
Section 4. The call to action.
So the crucial point is you can't just leave the audience laughing because laughter relieves tension, right? And to keep someone watching, you desperately need tension. The creator has to actively pull us back in and reinitiate that momentum. And he executes this masterfully. He says, "Okay, I'll show you right now, brother." This phrasing is just brilliant. It's colloquial. It's buddy to buddy. By calling the viewer brother, he totally shatters the fourth wall. He's inviting you in as a friend who's just hanging out, watching him try something completely ridiculous. And it serves as the ultimate trigger. The comedy break? Over. The intimacy? Established. And this single sentence launches us straight out of the setup and violently forward into the actual physical action.
We've spent this entire explainer breaking down the sheer genius of a multi-layered hook that literally lasts mere seconds. We've gone through the challenge, that brilliant comedic self-doubt, the clever genre blending, and finally, the buddy-to-buddy call to action. But of course, the ultimate brilliance of this entire psychological setup is that it leaves us with the one thing that practically guarantees we watch to the very end. Because after all that build-up, after the doubt, and after the promise, did he actually break the 20-second barrier? Well, now that you know exactly how your brain was hacked to care, I highly recommend you go find out. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive, and remember, keep an eye out for those hidden mechanics in absolutely everything you watch.